Hello friends, happy Vlogtober. In today's video, I am going to be sharing with you a recipe that I've never made before. So hopefully it's good. It's this creamy apple squares, and it's out of this book, Prize Winning Apples. I can't remember where I got this book from, but I've used several recipes out of it in the past, and I've really liked it. I'm going to go ahead and put the recipe here so you guys can screenshot it, and if you want to make this, that way I don't have to type this all out in the description. There's that, and then there's a little bit more instructions on the back, and that's what it's all about. It's from Janet Woodburn, and I grew up in Washington, the leading apple producing state in the country, and I can still remember getting up early to pick apples from our trees. These were delicious. Since then, I've moved to Idaho, but I still remember those mornings every time I bake these squares. My mother concocted this recipe years ago, and I haven't changed a thing. Now, I, being who I am going to change just one thing in it. I probably shouldn't, being this is the first time I've made the recipe. Actually, there's gonna be two things. It says here to use unpeeled apples. Well, I don't want to take the risk of the apples peelings being really tough. And you know how when you're eating something and you get a hold of a peel and you have to spit it out. So I'm going to peel my apples. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I think it might be a little bit too bland with just cinnamon in it, and not very much cinnamon either. And I love cinnamon, so I'm going to up the cinnamon. I'm going to put a whole teaspoon in, not just half a teaspoon. And then I'm going to add the other seasonings that are in apple pie, which are nutmeg and allspice. Just a little bit, because I want to give it a little more of an apple pie vibe. So I'm going to make those changes. If I like it, I will let you know, and you can adjust your recipe accordingly. So this is going to be a really simple recipe, and I plan on during Vlogtober doing a few, I don't know how many recipes for fall. And I do want to do, want to do at least one that is keto friendly or low carb, because I am trying to do low carb. This recipe is absolutely not low carb, but my family is going to love it, and I will have a piece too, because you know, what's life if you can't have dessert once in a while? So the first step to this, and I guess the main ingredient besides the apples, is a yellow cake mix. So I'm going to dump my yellow cake mix in this bowl, and then you mix it with a half a cup of butter, which is 1 stick softened. I've had this out on the counter for about a half an hour, and it seems pretty soft. So I think it'll be fine. I won't have to put it in the microwave at all. And if you microwave it, it liquefies, and I don't want to liquefy it. And I think the easiest way to make this, because you have to mix it till it's crumbly, and I think the easiest way to do that is just with my hands. My hands are clean, I just washed them. Kind of bust this up into pieces in here. And then just start mixing it. nice and crumbly, as you can see. Then the next step is to reserve 2/3 of a cup of this mixture. This is a 1/3 cup. So I'm going to take out 2/3 of a cup of this mixture for a crumb topping. And then to this mixture, you add 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar, as if this stuff wasn't sweet enough, but that's what the recipe says. 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. Then it said a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, but this is where I'm gonna change it up a bit, and I'm gonna put a whole teaspoon of cinnamon in. I just love cinnamon. I don't think you can have too much. And then as far as the allspice goes, I think I'm gonna put a 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. I'm going to put like a shy 1/2 teaspoon, not quite a full teaspoon. And then for the nutmeg, I have whole nutmegs. I have this, which is hasn't been opened yet, but I do have another pack in there of nutmeg, so I'm not going to open this. And there's a nutmeg that I've been using. If you guys have never used whole nutmeg, I highly recommend it. It is so much better than the already ground stuff, and they last forever. So I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to put in there. Just that much. Not much at all, because nutmeg is a pretty powerful. So I just put a couple scratches of, and it's probably 1/8 of a teaspoon, I would imagine. And so then you just mix this well. I'm just going to use a fork for this part. I absolutely love fall desserts. I love apples this time of year. They're just so good. It's, you know, apple season. They're fresher. And I just love, and I love anything made with pumpkin, and you know I'm a pumpkin spice fan, you know that. So I'm sure one of the recipes that I do this month will be something to do with pumpkin, and I have no idea what I'm going to do for my low carb treat, but I have to make something that doesn't require, you know, that's probably like a cookie or something that I can freeze, because my family doesn't like my low carb food. So they're not going to be happy about it. So it'll be something I just save for myself. Okay, so then after you get that, you set it aside, and I keep going back to my recipe here. Then you press the remaining mixture of the cake mixture into an ungreased 9x13 pan. I'm assuming it's ungreased because of the butter that you added, so it doesn't need. I hope it doesn't stick. Makes me nervous when they say ungreased. So I'm just going to go ahead and press this in. Use the back of my measuring cup. Or maybe I'll just use my fingers. I think it'll be easier. I don't think you have to press it firmly. It just says, press remaining cake mixture into the bottom of an ungreased 9x13 baking pan. Okay, so we did that. And then we set this aside, and now I'm going to prepare the apples. I have my apples washed and dried, and it calls for 3 large apples. Well, I would call those medium, so I have got 5. So I'm going to do 5, and like I said, I'm going to peel them, core them, and slice them thinly. all peeled and cored and sliced up real nice. Now I also wanted to mention that the recipe called for red delicious apples. Couldn't find any red delicious apples, so I got Gala apples, and they're nice and crunchy. I'm probably gonna have one of these with my lunch today. But anyway, so I got those all sliced up. Now it didn't say anything in the recipe about adding any lemon juice to it to keep them from browning, so I'm not going to do that. So then the next step is you pull the crust back out and you just kind of arrange the apple slices over the crust. Now if you wanted to get real fancy, you could lay them out like perfectly, but I don't have time for that. I like things to look kind of more rustic anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and just get these all on here. I wish they would have said, instead of said, you know, 3 large apples, I wish it would have said how many cups of apples you needed, because I don't know if this is too many or not, but I don't know that you can have too many apples in an apple dessert. Okay, so got that done. Now the next step is this one that seemed a little strange to me, but I'm trusting that it's going to work out. You need to take a cup of sour cream. Now, of course, I'm using my dairy-free version. If you don't need to be dairy-free, you can just use regular sour cream. So you take a cup of sour cream and you mix it with 1 egg, and then you pour it over the top of your apples. So I'm gonna do it. It seems strange, but I'm gonna do it. Then you sprinkle it with the reserved topping evenly. All right, that's what it looks like, and I'm telling you, it already smells so good. So then you put it in a preheated 350-degree oven, and you bake it for 25 to 30 minutes or until the topping is golden brown and bubbly. It says to serve it warm and refrigerate any leftovers. So I am currently still in my fasting period, but by the time this is done out of the oven and warm enough, not boiling hot, it will be time for me to eat something. So I am definitely going to taste this for you and let you know what I think. So when this is out of the oven, I'll bring you back. It just came out of the oven. Now be aware, it took about 10 minutes longer than the recipe said, at least for my oven. The recipe had said 25 to 30 minutes. It was more like 40 to 45 minutes in my oven, but I was just watching it till the top got golden brown. So that's when I pulled it out. So just keep an eye on it when you bake, if you bake this recipe. It obviously has to cool off for quite a while before I can taste it, but as soon as it's cool enough to cut, I will bring it back and we will have a piece together. So here it is done. It's still slightly warm, and it was very like soft and almost like pudding-ish when I cut it and served it. Olivia's going to take a taste first, and then I will take a taste. She's going to be the guinea pig. If Olivia likes it, then you know it's good. Okay, I got to get a fork so I can try mine. All right, I'm going to take a taste. That looks so good. Woo! I'm gonna lose my crumbles off the top. I should have just put that piece in my mouth because it was a perfect bite. All right, there we go. Oh my goodness. That is delicious. It is in no way like a cake. I thought it might be kind of cake-like, but that stuff that we pressed in the bottom of the pan, it's just like a crust. And I think those added spices are really good. I think it would have been, in my personal opinion, I think it would have been kind of bland without the added spices in there. Delicious. Delicious. Super easy. Wonderful with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Delicious. I highly recommend this recipe. If you decide to give this recipe a try, let me know. And let me know what you think of it. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I hope you've been enjoying Vlogtober so far. And I will see you next time. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section below. Bye-bye, friends.